Yeah, in our daily work with our customers, we often see new customers who are really eager to start their EA program quickly. And most of the times they are actually focusing on the use case of application portfolio management. And what you need for application portfolio management, or what at least makes your life a lot easier, is a good business capability model, because you actually want to know what your applications are actually doing, the applications that you have. And it actually sounds quite easy, but on the other hand, this is often the point where customers actually start losing their momentum, because they're getting lost in methodology-driven conversations and nitty-gritty conversations about the right details. From my perspective, this is absolutely not possible, not necessary. So it's more about getting a proper model, which is right to a certain degree, than figuring out every detail. Business capabilities are pretty much the functions a company needs to execute its business model. They are pretty much just answering the question what a company is doing. And they are thus independent from certain processes or certain parts of the organizational structure. Think of a car manufacturer. A car manufacturer needs to be able to produce cars. A parcel service probably has really excellent logistics. Or think of a software company like LeanIX. We need the capability to actually gather feedback from our customers and then translate it into the product via a very good product development. So these might be just capabilities on a high level. Like others might be HR management or finance, or, for example, as said logistics. So for proper application portfolio management, you probably want to break those down a little bit. So you don't want to just talk about logistics, but break it down into procurement and sourcing and warehouse management. And warehouse management, you again want to break down in let's say packaging, dispositioning, or goods and receipt management. So it's really easy to get to a certain level of detail, which actually gives you a really good starting point to plan your application landscape. You do not need to get in too much detail, and you also do not need to put too much science into it to actually start working and generating value with a business capability map. Business capability mapping is great to scope and prioritize the work with your IT portfolio, application portfolio. It is pretty easy to relate goals or strategic initiatives to capabilities, and they already get a feeling where it's actually where you need to allocate resources to, or put your budget to. On the other hand, it gives you a great clustering of your applications and shows which functionality is currently supported by what kind of applications. So you'd actually get a great insight in the, let's say, quality the function is currently supported, and if there's a need, also bottom up, to put in new technologies to support your functions even better, and being able to execute new business models. Starting to create your business capability map is rather easy. One important point is to always have in mind that you want to answer the question what is my company doing. And to start off, you can actually take a lot of resources, like the LeanIX poster, for example, to start off. But there are also a lot of process models, probably being in your company, that give you great insights. Of course, if you are using reference models, you of course have to take care that the functionality also on a high level actually represents what your company is doing. As a telecommunications provider, let's say, you probably don't want to place a top-level capability production, but have an prominent view on a billing capability that you further break down. So relying on best practices is a good approach. Nevertheless, as you break down your capability to a second or probably a third level, which is necessary, you might get to a point where you get stuck and really don't know what the specifics of your business are and what the specifics of your business models are. And this is pretty much the time where you'll get in touch with your colleagues and ask the experts in those domains what they are actually doing in their daily work. And we'd always suggest to reach out, bringing a certain idea or 80% of your current capability map as a point for a discussion. And we'd also recommend to set up some easy interview questions up front that actually enable your interview partner to give a little bit more insights about the daily tasks or workflows they need to actually work through. And there it's just your task to be curious, ask questions, and finally note down and sort that feedback that you're getting to see, like, hey, what are my colleagues doing in their day-to-day business? And you'd pretty much able to get good results quickly if you focus on these hands-on interviews and don't make a science out of it. I'd really recommend to take it easy. Do not overcomplicate things. Really, in most cases, we see that 2 levels, or let's say 3 levels for capabilities are really enough to start proper application portfolio management. If you go more into detail, you will end up in more discussion and won't also make the progress and create that value that you actually want to create, because you get stuck in this conversations. This is why I would really recommend to, as you talk with people about it, create a pitch. Create a pitch where you do not talk about the methodology, but where you simply tell your stakeholders that you need the capability model to allocate IT budgets correctly, to do a reassessment of your application portfolio, or to simply see if functionalities are well supported by IT or need some optimization. Your stakeholders will not be interested in the method behind it, but they'll be very, very happy if you can free up some budget, or if you can provide better technology that makes their life easier in the long run or in their daily business. So my number one tip is not overcomplicate things, and actually keep it simple and concentrate on creating business value instead of having complicated methodology. If you're interested to learn more, please request a demo and talk to our sales managers. If you need some hands-on support, feel free to ask them for professional services. We are happy to help you out with building your business capability map.